2019 November 25. Daily Bread. Passage. Esther chapter 6 verse 1–14. Key verse. Verse 13b. Title. The king honors Mordecai. Bible passage. That night the king could not sleep, so he ordered the book of the Chronicles, the record of his reign, to be brought in and read to him. It was found recorded there that Mordecai had exposed Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, who had conspired to assassinate King Xerxes. "What honor and recognition has Mordecai received for this?" the king asked. "Nothing has been done for him," his attendants answered. And the king said, "Who is in the court?" Now Haman had just entered the outer court of the palace to speak to the king about impaling Mordecai on the pole he had set up for him. His attendants answered, "Haman is standing in the court, bring him in," the king ordered. When Haman entered, the king asked him, "What should be done for the man the king delights to honor?" Now Haman thought to himself, "Who is there that the king would rather honor than me?" So he answered the king, "For the man the king delights to honor. Have them bring a royal robe the king has worn and a horse the king has ridden, one with a royal crest placed on its head. Then let the robe and horse be entrusted to one of the king's most noble princes. Let them robe the man the king delights to honor, and lead him on the horse through the city streets, proclaiming before him, 'This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.'" "Go at once," the king commanded Haman. "Get the robe and the horse and do just as you have suggested for Mordecai the Jew, who sits at the king's gate. Do not neglect anything you have recommended." So Haman got the robe and the horse. He robed Mordecai, and led him on horseback through the city streets, proclaiming before him, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." Afterward Mordecai returned to the king's gate. But Haman rushed home, with his head covered in grief, and told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had happened to him. His advisers and his wife Zeresh said to him, "Since Mordecai, before whom your downfall has started, is of Jewish origin, you cannot stand against him, you will surely come to ruin." While they were still talking with him, the king's eunuchs arrived and hurried Haman away to the banquet Esther had prepared. Daily Bread message. 1. The king is reminded of the conspiracy. The night after the first banquet, the king couldn't sleep. So he read the chronicles of his reign. In the books was a telling of the assassination attempt that had been foiled by Mordecai. When the king inquired as to what was done for him, he was told nothing had been done. Just then, Haman entered the king's presence to ask about hanging Mordecai. God's hand is so evident here. Isn't God's providence wonderful? 2. Haman is humiliated. The king asked Haman what should be done with someone the king wanted to honor. Thinking he was the one to be honored, Haman wanted to be dressed in the king's robe and led around town on the king's horse, proclaiming his honor. Much to Haman's humiliation, the king told Haman to do that for Mordecai. Haman obeyed, but went home in grief. But Mordecai returned to the king's gate to pray for Esther. It was evident to Haman's wife and friends that the hand of the God of the Jews was on this. Those who curse God's people will be cursed themselves. Prayer. Lord, you oppose the proud and give grace to the humble. Help us not to be proud, but to humble ourselves before you. One word. Man schemes, but God works.